everybody, Martin here, and today on the channel I am probably playing wrong a game called The Brass Age by Barney Skinner. And this is a game that is a bag builder, it is a tableau builder, it is steampunk-ish, it's very, very reminiscent of H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds. It ticks a lot of boxes for me. This is currently in the 2021 Solo Print and Play Game Design Contest, which is ongoing on Board Game Geek. And Barney is one of my absolute favorite indie designers. This actually the bigger version of a 9-card micro game that he did a few months back called The Brass Age Invasion. So this is the bigger version of that game. And let me just take you down to my table and show you what we're looking at here. If I can just figure out these controls. Okay, so here's the layout of the game. And I've created a custom playmat for this game that you can see here because I just like to, have a designated spot for things. It makes me feel a lot more organized when I'm playing. But let me explain to you what's going on here. Thematically, what's going on is you play a faction, one of 3 possible factions. You either play the Americans. So here is the Kingdom of America, right? You could play those. Or you could play the Martians, and this is their card right here if you can see it. Or you could play the British Empire, which you can't see because it is behind my body here in the lower left. But here you go. You could play as the British Imperium, if you will. And these cards are cool. These nation cards are cool because each side has a player side. So this is the player side here, with some action spaces and a tracker to keep track of your life. And on the other side, if you flip it over, this is the AI side. So each one of these factions can be played either as the player or as the solo AI that you're going up against. So that's really, really cool. So the British Imperium we're going to have to the player side right now. And I've got a cube that is keeping track of my life. I start the game with 32 health. I am going up against the Martians. So the Martian invasion fleet starts at the easy mode with 70 health. At normal difficulty, they'd start with 80 health. And then in hard difficulty, they'd start with 90 health. So we are starting on easy for this playthrough. And I think that's all I can handle because I already played this game earlier and got completely destroyed on easy. So we'll see how it goes this time around. So, let me talk a little bit about the player. So whichever, each nation you choose has its own unique deck. And so I'm playing as the British Imperium, so I've got the British deck here in my market deck space, as you can see here in the upper left. And then off screen, I've placed a discard pile, which you won't be able to see, but that's okay because the discard pile, unlike most kind of deck building games, once you're through with your deck, you don't shuffle your discard and form a new deck. So it makes it a lot tougher to make the decision, hey, am I going to discard a card? And you'll see that a little later in a little bit. But yeah, so you only go through your deck once through each game. Over here is my market row. You'll always have 4 cards in your market row. And so when you are playing as the human player, you're only looking at this part of the card here. Okay? This part has the action spaces, and we'll show you that in a little bit. So the bottom part of every card, that is only for when the AI, that's the activation box for the enemy AI. So these cards that are here in the market, we're only looking at the middle part underneath the art. Or you could have a science card. The science gives you one-time nice benefits, and then you discard them. For example, this mechanical prosthesis, if I were to purchase this for the cost of 1 ether, it would heal 1 point of damage. So that's what I've got going for me as the player. Now I did mention this is a bag builder. So I have a bag here, and the bag, you start out with a few starting tokens, low value tokens, just like any other kind of bag or deck building game. And I've already set out my 5 starting tokens, so you'll always draw a set of 5 new tokens for every turn. Let me show you what these tokens are. This represents metal. whoop, let me put it in the, this represents metal, and metal is what you use to purchase new cards, basically. So metal equals money. This is coal. And coal is used to generally activate action spaces on your cards. So the more coal you have, the more stuff you can do. Generally, the more damage you can do to your enemy, but not always damage. And then finally, there is a mysterious substance in this universe called ether. And ether is what you use to buy science cards and do scientific effects. So there's, essentially, you can look at it's a game with three different types of currency, if you will. So there's metal, there's coal, and there's ether. Now, just very quickly, we're going to talk about the enemy, in this case, the Martians. They have their own AI deck, which is here, and every turn they're going to be setting out their active enemy cards, and then we're going to resolve them. And so, once again, you'll see how this all shakes out. But you know what? Let's start playing. So, the game plays out in three phases. First is the player phase, then the cleanup phase, then the enemy phase. So, here in the player phase, let's go and do that now. I have a menu of actions that I can do. I could recruit a nation card from the market. So let's see if we can do that. We're going to need to spend metal to be able to recruit cards from the market. And the cost is here in kind of like the middle right section. So here's the etherical translocator, and I can actually afford that for 2 metal. I have that. What does it do for me? It's the kind of card that can give me temporary ability tokens, which are nice. They're off screen over here. The green tokens are temporary abilities. You use them and then you discard them back to supply, but they're generally more powerful. So if I buy that etherical translocator with some coal, with 2 coal, I'd be able to do that. And if I gave it ether, it would allow me to trash tokens. So my starter tokens, as the game goes on, become more and more of a hindrance to me, less of an advantage. So that might be an interesting thing to look into buying. I can also purchase this aristocratic adventurer for 2 metal, and the things that he would do for me, he would give me more ether if I spend metal. If I spend metal, it could also give me attack. So this one gives me a range of attack and build up my ether. This one gives me more powerful temporary tokens, but and also the ability to start trashing low-level tokens. So that's kind of cool. So let's see. I think I'm leaning more towards the aristocratic adventurer. So I'm going to discard these 2 tokens here to take the aristocratic adventurer, and I'm going to put the aristocratic adventurer in my front line. So that is this row right over here. I can only ever have a maximum of 5 cards in my front line, and generally speaking, once they're in the front line, they stay there unless they are removed or unless I choose to remove them. Okay, so we've got the aristocratic adventurer. Another thing that I can do is I can use my tokens to activate action slots on my cards. So sadly, I'm already out of metal. I used up my metal to buy the aristocratic adventurer, so I don't have any metal to activate either of these action slots here. Which maybe, maybe now that I'm thinking about it, might have been a mistake. Maybe I should have gotten the etherical translocator because I can still do interesting things with it now, but c'est la vie. Because here on my nation card, I still have kind of default actions that I can do. If I give up 2 coal, I can get a token with 2 metal on it, so an upgraded metal token. Or if I gave up 2 metal, I could get an upgraded coal token, a token with 2 coal icons instead of just 1. Or if I gave it ether, I could get some more ether, right? So looks like there's still stuff I can do here. I probably want to take my 2 coal and I want to place it on my nation card to get an upgraded metal token. So it's this right off the screen here. It's this token that has 2 metal icons on it. and that is going to go into my bag at the end of this player phase. So I'll put it here for now. So I have one more thing left to spend, which is this ether. And I could do a couple of things with it. I could buy this science card for 1 ether, and it would heal 1 point of damage. But I haven't suffered any damage yet, so it's probably not the best use for this guy. I could, probably a better use is to place it over on this action slot on my nation card. You can't see it, I realize. Let me pull this up closer to you. I can put this on this action slot on my nation card and get another ether, single ether token that I can put in my bag. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to get a single ether, another single ether that's going to go in my bag. All right, so I'm now out of tokens, ability tokens, so that means that the player phase is over, and now we move on to the cleanup phase. So in the cleanup phase, the first thing we do is we return all used and unused ability tokens to our bag. So these are the ones that we used and that we collected. They're all going to go in the bag, as well as all of the tokens that I placed on my nation card. They all go in the bag. Now, another thing that we can do here in the cleanup phase is we can optionally choose to discard a card from the market to the discard pile. But remember, like I said earlier, this is the type of game where once you discard a card, it's gone from the game forever. It's not going to cycle back if you work through your market deck. So you have to really think about, do I really want to discard that card right now? I think that I'm going to maintain, well, you know, the Lightning Child is very expensive right now. I probably can't afford it, but it's going to become a very powerful weapon for me once I can afford it, so I want to keep that there. And I probably do want to pick up the Etherical Translocator in a future turn. So there's nothing I want to just optionally discard from here. But I do now have to take a card, draw a card from the deck, and fill up the slot, the empty slot from the was made when I bought a card. So the Land Torpedo has joined our market here, and the Land Torpedo costs 1 metal, and it has action slots where it could do a lot of damage, but you'd have to kill the card because it is a torpedo after all. Okay, so that's kind of cool. It's a one-time use card. You can fire off a torpedo at the enemy, basically. And then the last thing that I need to do in the cleanup phase is I need to draw 5 new tokens for the next turn. So what's nice about this game is that I'm going to know, I get a coal, I'm going to know what tokens I have for my next turn. I get another coal, that's 2 coal. Kind of cool. I'm hoping my upgraded token comes out. Yes, there it is. My 2 metal token comes out, so that's going to allow me to purchase a card in a future turn. Ether, and I know that I have 1 more ether in here. It might be nice if I'm actually able to get it. We'll see. Ah, yes, there it is. Speaking of that other ether, there it is. So that was a pretty good draw. We don't do anything with this set of tokens right now. We're setting up for our next player phase. But right now it's the end of the cleanup phase, and now it is the enemy phase. And the enemy phase works out in 2 stages. Number 1, first stage is we activate any enemy cards in play. But since we're just starting the game, there's no enemy cards in the active enemy card area yet. So we're going to do stage 2, which is draw an enemy card. Now there's 2 types of enemy cards. If it's a news card, you resolve it right away and discard it. If it's an enemy, then it will enter play, but it won't resolve this enemy phase. Like thematically, the enemy just arrived. It's going to attack you later. But again, it's kind of got that, you know what's coming. And then that can allow you to shape your strategy, right? So that's kind of cool game design touch there. So I'm going to draw the top card of the enemy deck. It is a news card, Sniper Fire. It says suffer damage equal to the number of cards in your front line, number of frontline cards, which I have 1 card in my front line, which means I'm going to suffer 1 point of damage. So from 32, I now go down to 31 health points, and I discard that that news card. So that's the first enemy phase, and that's how we resolve that. Cool. So now we move on to the next player phase. So once again, I'm looking at what I've got here. I have 2 metal. I also have 2 coal that I don't really have anything to spend it on right now. And I have 2 ether. So I'm thinking that I need to purchase more cards to add to my front line. So my choices are a land torpedo and or an etherical translocator. Well, you know what? I can afford this land torpedo right now. I could also afford that etherical translocator. So I'm going to spend these 2. I'm going to buy the land torpedo. The nice thing about your actions in the player phase is that you can do them in any order, so you don't have to follow. I don't have to purchase a card first. I could activate an action slot first and then purchase a card later. So now that I've purchased this land torpedo and added it to my front line, I could already use one of its activation slots if I had the resources to be able to use them. For example, it says here, if I place 2 coal on this, I can do 5 points of damage and kill the card. Well, I just happen to have 2 coal, so I'm going to place them on that slot there, and I'm going to do 5 points of damage to the enemy. Now, if there were enemy cards in the active enemy card area, I could choose to direct my damage to one of those cards, but right now there's no active enemy cards, so I'm going to do 5 points of damage to the enemy nation card. And by the way, I should have mentioned from the get-go that the goal of this game is to reduce the enemy nation to 0 points. Once I manage to reduce it to 0 points, I win the game. If it reduces me to 0 points, I lose the game. So that's how that works out. So I'm doing 5 points of damage. It started at 70. Now it is now down to 65 points of damage. But I do lose the torpedo. That gets permanently discarded over here just off the screen. And I have 2 ether left to spend somewhere. I do have 1 point of damage, so I could potentially use 1 ether to heal that point of damage. You know what? There's no loss there, so I think I will actually use this mechanical prosthesis, discard it, and heal my 1 point of damage. The other ether that I have, I'm going to place on my nation card to gain yet another single ether token, and that's going to get added to my bag, my token bag. All right, we have used up once again all of our tokens here in the player phase, so we're going to take everything we used, and any tokens that were not used also go back in the bag unless they're temporary ability tokens. All right, so now we're in the cleanup phase. So once again, in the cleanup phase, what we do is we return all of our used tokens to the bag. I'm reading, by the way, from the player aid that I integrated into my playmat here. We are going to optionally, we have the option to discard a card from the market that's still there. I don't. I like the cards that are there, so I'm not going to do that. And then we have to draw from the market deck until we're back up to 4 cards. So we've got a science card, analytical engine, and we've got the clockwork sheriff. So that's nice. It's nice that we have cards coming into the market that that are at my level and I can actually afford. We've also got the HMLS Lightning Child that's there that I can't afford yet, but I'm hoping that that stays there for the future. There are some enemy cards that will potentially remove cards from the market, so I'm hoping that none of them come out. And that analytical engine is nice. For 2 ether, I can gain 1 of any token. Any token! Any token! That's so cool, right? I could already gain one of these like higher level tokens that are here with the multiple icons. So that's actually really good. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting excited. The last part, once again, of the cleanup phase is we'll draw 5 new tokens. So here we go. We've got coal. We've got metal. We've got one other coal. We've got another metal. What else we got? And we have an ether. It's been pretty consistent so far. A couple of coals, a couple of metals, and an ether. Or last time we had 2 ether. So, cool. But we're not going to do anything with those tokens yet because now, dun, 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 it is the enemy phase. If there was an active enemy card, we would have resolved it. There's none there, so we move on to take the top card, draw the top card of the enemy deck, put it in play. So it is a handling machine. This, let me show you more about this enemy card. So this tells you what level the card is. It's a level 1 enemy. This tells you how many hit points it has. It has 3 hit points or health points. And this tells you what its effect is when it activates. In this case, all Martian cards are going to gain 1 health back. So this machine cures or heals Martian cards. So, you know, it's not as bad as it could be. It's kind of their version of a cleric. But I'll definitely want to kill this card at my soonest possible convenience. Now you'll notice this is not actually a randomly shuffled deck. When you're playing against the AI, you arrange the deck in increasing order of difficulty. So you separate them into level 1 pile, level 2 pile, level 3 pile, and then you shuffle each individual pile along with some news cards that are bad news usually, and then you put the 3 on the bottom, you put the level 2s on top of that, and then you put the level 1. So it's a nice kind of design where the enemies are at your level, and as you build up your capabilities, the enemy is slowly building up and becoming more powerful and meaner as well. So that's another thing I like about the design of this game. So cool. So an enemy comes out this enemy phase, but it's not going to resolve its effect until the following enemy phase. So we are safe from this for now. And also, since it's not going to be attacking us, it's basically a healing card. I don't have to worry about it for the next couple of turns. We'll see. All right. So we are now down to my next player phase. So the first thing I want to do is I want to potentially buy another card for our front line. This Clockwork Sheriff, if I were to purchase this for 2 metal, which I happen to have, then it would give me action slots where if I gave it 2 metal, I would trash a card, or I'm sorry, trash a token, a low-level token. If I gave it 2 coal, which I also happen to have, I could potentially do 2 damage to the enemy. So that's interesting. Another option for me would be to do this Etherical Translocator. We've looked at this card already. If I gave it 2 coal, I could get a temporary action or ability token. If I gave it ether, I could trash a card. So it's a question of, do I want the Clockwork Sheriff or do I want the Etherical Translocator? I can't afford Lightning Child and I can't afford Analytical Engine right now. So what do I want to do? What do I want to do? Or, you know what? I could say, you know what? I'm not going to buy cards for the front line. Instead, I could invest some tokens on the cards I already have. Like, for example, this Aristocratic Adventurer, I could feed it 1 metal and it would give me another ether. So that's kind of interesting. But then that would leave me with no more metal to be able to buy cards. So there's a lot of interesting choices here. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend the 2 metal to purchase the Clockwork Sheriff and add him to my front line here. And then I am going to spend the 2 coal to activate this action slot, which is, hey, do 2 damage to the enemy. So now I have the choice of putting all of my damage either on the handling machine or on the Martian nation card. And because the handling machine, like I said, is not really that much of a threat to me yet, I'm going to focus damage on the nation card. So from 65, it's going to go down to 63 health points. Seems like a lot, doesn't it? So cool. So I'm. Oh, and by the way, the other thing is that you can't split damage among multiple enemy cards. If you choose to, so if you're potentially gonna, let's say this handling machine had 3 hit points and I did 4 damage, I would still have to put it all there. And you can't say I'm going to put only 3 on this card and then kind of allocate the remainder of the damage to another card. That would be cool, but you can't do it in this game. Cool. So I am left with just one more unspent token, and that's this ether. I'm going to go ahead and place it on my nation card to earn one more ether token. So I'm building up my ether. And potentially, if those multiple ether tokens come out of the bag, I can start to do interesting things with it. So we're looking for a single ether token. I may actually be out. There may be no more, because ether is very rare in this game. So if there is no more token of the type that I'm supposed to be able to pull, then that's it. Nothing happens. And there's no other spot for me to use my ether. So you know what? My ether is going to get not used this turn. It's an unused token. So we are at the end of this next player phase, this current player phase. Once again, we're going to clean up all used and unused tokens that are not temporary. Go back in the bag. I've already decided I'm not going to be discarding any of the cards that are here, so I will just fill in this row in the market. It is another science card, Etherical Dowsing. For 2 ether, I'll be able to get 2 temporary ability tokens, so that's kind of interesting to look at in the future. And we're going to pull out 5 more tokens. I'm really hoping for some upgraded tokens. That is an ether. Maybe one more ether. They're all in this bag now. Turns out I am ether rich. I've got an upgraded metal token. I've got 2 metal icons there. Okay, so that's a total of 3 metal. Another ether. There we go. Now we can start doing some cool things. And I've got a total of 4 metal. Oh man. That is very, very cool. So potentially with 4, well, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Remember, at the end of the cleanup phase, we draw our new tokens, but we don't use them yet because now it's the enemy's turn. So first things first, the first part of the enemy phase is we resolve actions for all active enemy cards. In this case, all Martian cards earn or gain back 1 health point. So there's no other cards here in the area, so that's not going to have any effect. But now, stage 2 of the enemy phase is we'll take the top card of the enemy deck and we'll put it into play. We have Little Gray Men from Mars. Little Gray Men from Mars, and whenever they activate, they'll do 1 point of damage. They're a level 1 card. They have 3 health points. So they're not doing anything right now, remember. So when they just, in the turn where they enter the active enemy card area, they don't yet resolve their effect. So they'll resolve in the following enemy phase. So it is now our turn, our player phase, and we have some decisions to make. What are we going to do with our tokens that we have out here? So I have the choice of these 2 science cards. Let's take a closer look at these science cards here. I have the choice of either getting the analytical engine for 2 ether. This is going to allow me to gain 1 of any token. Okay, that's kind of cool. Or Etherical Dowsing, also for 2 ether. This is going to allow me to add 2 temporary tokens. So do I want a permanent upgrade token, or do I want 2 temporary tokens? I'm going to go for the temporary tokens. So I'm going to spend the 2 ether on this science card, and I'm going to choose from one of these temporary tokens that are here. And some of them are kind of cool. Like this one is 3 ether. This one, 3 metal. This one, get 3 health points back. This token means draw 2 more tokens from the bag, which is kind of cool. This one, trash 2 tokens from your pool, from your hand, basically. So It's always a question now. They're very powerful, but they are one-time use. So let's see. I think. I think I'll get this 3 coal. Put that in my bag. And how about 3 metal? How about 3 ether? Can we do more interesting stuff with ether? We don't have cards that really do anything with ether yet. So, man. I think it's a little too early for the double trashy cards, double trashy token. How about, oh my gosh, why can't I decide? I'll take this one that's going to allow me to draw double tokens from the bag. Okay. So we've decided what to do. We purchased this this etherical dowsing, which gave us for two ether, which gave us a bunch of 2 temporary tokens. Now we still have 4 metal that we have to use. We can definitely purchase the etherical translocator, but we don't have anything to use it for yet. So we'll use this 2 metal to purchase the etherical translocator and add it to our front line here. And let's see what else we can do with our remaining 2 metal. We could put it here and do damage. We could do it here, but there's no more. This part of the aristocratic adventure, for 1 metal, we could get another single ether icon token, but there's no more in the supply. So the rules state that once there's no more of a needed token in the supply, then that has no effect. So can't do that. We could probably use one of these for damage. So we'll do 1 point of damage. Okay, now we have a choice of, do I want to damage the little gray men, or do I want to damage the handling machine, or do I want to put my damage on the Martian nation? I think I will do damage to the little gray men because it's going to be doing damage to me. So I'll take 1 damage token here and I'll place it on the little gray men. So instead of 3 health points, now it has 2. Okay, so we've got 1 metal left over and no real good place to use it, so that means it's going to be an unused token this turn. So now in cleanup, once again, we'll take all of our used and unused tokens and we will place them in the bag. If we had used any temporary tokens this turn, we would be discarding them back to supply. Okay, and then this science card that we purchased gets discarded, and then I'm going to just choose not to discard any cards from the market, and I am now filling up the gaps in the market. So what came out? This science card called Weather Control. It will do 3 damage to every enemy card in play, but it's expensive. It requires, you need 3 ether to purchase it. Or there's these Royal Clone Core. You could buy it for 1, and it does damage as well as heals damage to you. So that's kind of cool. No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry. If it's for the player AI, I'm sorry, for the player mode, I'm getting all confused. It allows me to boost, which we haven't talked about yet, or spend 2 coal to do 1 damage. Boosting is interesting because you'll notice that there's a square in between both of the action slots on every one of these cards, which means that square, if you did a boost, you could take one of these boost tokens and you could place it in that square. And what that boost means is that if you activate either of these actions, you also resolve the boost action. So for example, if this card had this action, this damage boost, this attack boost here, if I had placed 2 coal here, instead of doing just 1 attack, I would do +1 attack. So a total of 2 damage to the enemy because of the boost. So that's kind of cool. Another interesting mechanism, the boost. So our market is complete, And now the last part of the cleanup phase is we are drawing 5 new tokens. And now, since I know in my last turn I added some temporary tokens, I am now hoping for them to come out. Nope, we've got a metal. What else have we got? We've got an ether. Come on. We've got another ether, 2 ether. Ooh, maybe can I get a 3rd ether? Ooh. No, it's another metal. And one more. Ether, maybe ether. No, it's a coal. Okay. All right. Now we know what we're working with for our next player phase, but right now it's the enemy phase. We activate all of the cards in the active enemy card area. So handling machine activates first. All Martian cards gain 1 or get healed 1 point, which means the 1 point of damage that we did to the little gray men, that goes away. They get healed. And the little gray men are going to cause us 1 point of damage, so we're back down to 31. And then we take the top card of an enemy deck, and then we place it in play in the active area. This one is called Black Smoke. And what is it going to do? It's going to add smoke to my bag when it resolves. Smoke is basically a garbage token. When smoke comes out, it takes the place of 1 token that could otherwise have been useful to you. So we don't like smoke. Lots of nice thematic touches in this game. All right, so we've resolved the active enemy cards. We placed another enemy in play. That's not going to resolve right now. Now it is my next player phase. So first things first, I have 2 ether. And this analytical engine costs 2 ether. And if I choose to purchase this card, it will allow me to gain 1 of any token. So I think that's what I want to do right now. I'm going to buy this science card. I'm going to discard this science card, gain 1 of any token, and I'll place this ether over here to remind me that I actually used it already. So here are my choices. I could gain a permanent upgrade token, the ones with 2 icons on them instead of 1. And I'm thinking that I probably want to beef up on my metal production, because metal allows me to upgrade cards. Metal also allows me to activate some of my abilities, my ability slots. So I'm taking this one and putting this in my bag, or rather I will put it in my bag at the end of my next cleanup phase. So now I have got 2 metal and 1 coal. So what can I do with this 2 metal? Well, I could purchase Royal Clone Core for 1 metal, and he's going to give me some stuff, some interesting stuff to do. Sure, why not? I will take this 2, or instead of purchasing a card, I could actually go to my nation card and use my 2 metal to upgrade, get an upgrade of a double icon coal token, this one right here. So I think maybe that's what I want to do, because it's still early in the game and I want to focus on increasing my kind of currency generating capabilities. So I'm going to place this 2 metal here, and I'm going to draw a double coal icon, which is going to go into my bag at the end of my player phase. I'll place it here for now. All right, which leaves me with 1 coal left to be able to do something. I don't actually have any actions that require only 1 coal on any of my frontline cards, but I do have an action slot here on my nation card that says, hey, no, sorry, it doesn't. It requires 2 coal. So as it turns out, I can't do anything with my 1 coal, so that's going to be an unused token at the end of this player phase. So now we move into cleanup. As you've become familiar, first we're going to grab all of the tokens that we used, and we're going to place them back in the bag. So we are upgrading our tokens, and upgraded tokens are going in there, but we also haven't had a chance to trash any of our lower level tokens yet. So there's a whole bunch of them in there. We are just not going to choose to discard any of these cards. We're just going to replace this gap in the market. The card that came in is called Sonic Carronade. Ooh. And for 2 ether, it'll do 1 attack plus give me a temporary ability token. Or over here, the option is for 2 ether, it'll allow me to attack and trash a low-level token. So that's kind of cool. That costs 3 metal. Now we draw our next set of tokens for the next player phase. I'm hoping for some upgraded, some exciting upgraded tokens or temporary ability tokens. Ooh, I've got an upgraded double coal icon. Another coal, so a total of 3 coals so far. 4 coal, wow, lots of coal this time. Coal rich this turn. Ooh, that temporary ability icon came out. We'll resolve that later on in my player phase. And a double metal. Okay, so it looks like we have a promising turn coming up. But not going to do anything with that yet. We are going to resolve the enemy. So first of all, handling machine, and we always resolve from left to right. Always resolve from left to right. So the handling machine will do, if these cards had any damage on them, it would heal 1. Little Gray Man from Mars is going to attack me. I'm down to 30 health. And Black Smoke is going to place some smoke into my bag, which is kind of annoying. Aside from, so there's a couple of types of negative icon. Aside from smoke, there's also poison. And if you draw one of those, you suffer 1 health point of damage. So that sucks. All right, we've resolved all of the active enemy cards. Now let's draw the top card of the enemy deck. It is a news card, Espionage. Discard a token. Ouch. That sucks. Okay, that sucks. So, apparently a spy came behind enemy lines and destroyed one of my available resources. So I'm going to discard. I'm going to take one of these single coal and I'm going to discard it. So I'm just put it back in my bag. So it's not going to be available for me this upcoming player phase. So we've completed the enemy phase. Now it is my player phase. So the first thing I want to do is resolve this temporary ability token, which is going to allow me to draw 2 more tokens from my bag. I'm going to, like I said, the green ones are one-time use. So that goes into back to the supply, but I get to draw 2 more tokens, which is exciting. I'm hoping for some nice ones and not smoke. I don't want to see smoke. Okay, another metal. Ooh, okay, kind of cool. And ooh, another temporary green token. This is a 3 coal deal. So now I've got a lot of coal to play with this turn. So that's kind of cool. All right, first things first. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? With metal, we might want to start thinking about starting to cull some of our cards. I mean, some of not cards, our tokens. Starting to get rid of low-level tokens, but maybe not quite yet because I can afford the Sonic Carronade. Like I showed you earlier, the Sonic Carronade has these actions here, but it requires ether. I could also look at investing in the Royal Clone Core. For 1 ether, it could boost an adjacent card. Over here, for 2 coal, it will do a point of damage. So interesting. Who do I want more? I'm thinking. Maybe I want the Sonic Carronade. So I'm going to purchase this for 3. I'll put the 3 that I used to purchase it in that slot to remind me that I used it. And I'll add these to the front line. By the way, once you add a card to the front line, it doesn't move anymore. You can't move around because there are some effects that affect adjacent cards. Or there are actually some card effects that enable you to move the positions of the front of your cards in your front line. So once you put it in there, it just kind of stays there unless it is moved out of there. Okay, so now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Um, let's see. Coal. So what can we do with 6 coal? For 2 coal, we could attack, which I think I want to do, actually. For 2 coal, we could get a temporary token. So that's kind of cool. Yeah. We could also, for 2 coal, we could get a more. We could invest in a dual icon metal, like one of these jobbies here. We could do that. So what are we gonna do? Now our choices are expanding. So the first thing I want to do is I definitely want to attack. So I'll place it here on the. I'll place 2 coal here on the Clockwork Sheriff, and it says to do 2 attacks, 2 damage. Yeah, you know what? And it's annoying. This handling machine now is starting to annoy me. So I think I'm going to do 2 damage to the handling machine. Furthermore, I am going to. Can I? Oh, I can't do any more damage, can I? Darn it. That sucks. Okay, I'm going to place this temporary 3 token, coal token, on the Etherical Translocator's ability, and it's going to give me another temporary green token. So basically, give up 1 for the other. And the one that I'm going to choose is, I think I want the one with the ether. Okay, I'm going to put that in my I'm going to put this one in my bag. I have 1 more coal left, which doesn't really do me much of anything. So that's going to be unused. And now we're in the cleanup phase. So everything we used or did not use goes back in the bag. And we will fill in the gap for our market deck, and then we will draw more tokens. Man, these enemy cards, these active enemy cards are starting to fill up, aren't they? They're really starting to fill up. All right, what do we got? Okay, we've got 3 ether came out. We've got a total of 4 coal, and we've got 2 metal. Okay, that's going to be interesting stuff for us to do in our next player phase. But it's the enemy phase. Once again, we resolve all the active enemy cards from left to right. Every Martian card will heal 1 damage. Okay, I'm starting to get annoyed with this handling machine. The LGMs have no damage, but they will cause me 1 damage, so I go down to 29 hit points, and I get another smoke entering my bag. So that's kind of annoying. And we get the top card of the enemy deck enters play, and it is a Scout Probe, and its enemy effect is to discard a token, which is annoying. There's a lot of enemy cards in play right now. I really have to focus on taking them out, because as you can see, the more active enemy cards are in play, the more the effects start to cascade, if you will. Okay, my turn. What do I want to do? Let's see. This Sonic Carronade, if I give 2 ether over here, it's going to do 1 damage and give me another temporary token. Or if I put the 2 ether over here, it's going to do 1 damage and trash a token. Or, okay, wow, check this out. This science card is called the Cathode Ray, and I can afford it because it costs 3 ether. It's going to do 8 damage, 8 big damage. I could put all of that damage on that Martian Nation card. Or, check this out, I could also do this weather control, which will do, I can afford it for 3 ether, and it would do 3 damage versus every enemy card in play, which would basically take out 3 enemy cards in one fell swoop and leave the last one with only 1 health left. So I think that's what I'm going to do because it's a really, really powerful card. I'm going to do some weather control. I'm going to take this temporary ether, 3 ether. I'm going to put that back in the supply, and I'm going to do this 3 damage on every enemy card in play. That's exciting. So this handling machine is down to 2 health. Guess what? It's destroyed. I just destroyed the handling machine. This little gray man from Mars had a total of 3 health. That's gone. So that's already destroyed. This black smoke had 4 to start with. Now it's got 3 damage, so it's down to 1. Here you go. Put 3 damage tokens on you. And this scout probe only had 2, so that's destroyed without even becoming having an opportunity. It didn't last long enough to even resolve its effect. So that's very, very good indeed. Wow, that was some of these science cards are super powerful, like you can see. That cathode ray, I'm looking at that too. If I can buy that in the future turn, I'm going to put all of that damage on the Martians. So cool. Now, I have these. I've got 4 coal, and I've got 2 metal. So I think I'll use this metal to purchase the Royal Clone Core, because I could, instead of doing that, I could also use this 2 metal to purchase an upgraded coal icon. Are there any more left? Are there any more icons here with 2 coal? There are, absolutely. So that might be the better play. I'm going to use this 2 metal to purchase an upgraded double coal token from over here, and I'll put it here on this card for now. It eventually is going to go into my bag. All right, so now what can I do? I've got a couple of I've got this 2 coal here, and then I've got a total of 4 coal. For the coal slots, I've got this 1 coal slot that if I put a 2 coal here, I can do 2 damage, which would basically destroy the black smoke, which is nice because the black smoke has been annoying me by adding smoke to my bag. If I put the 2 coal here, I could get another temporary token, and the temporary tokens have been working out for me so far. And I actually do. I have enough coal to do both of these, so I don't have to choose. Or another option is I could put a 2 coal on my nation card, and in exchange for an upgraded metal icon, the one with 2 metal icons on it, which is another interesting thing. So what do I want to do? Because basically this is more long term, whereas these 2 things are more immediate. Okay, I think, you know what, I think I'll go with the immediate right now. I'll place 2 coal on the etherical translocator to get a, you know, this 3 ether was really super useful, so I want to get that again. I'll put that over here for now, and then I'm going to put 2 more coal on the Clockwork Sheriff to do a 2 attack, or attack for 2 points, which is enough to take out the black smoke. So we have destroyed all of the active enemy cards in play in this turn. That was a really nice turn for us. I feel really good about that one, because we started the turn with 4 active enemy cards, and then now we just took them all out. So that was really, really nice. But now we're in the cleanup phase. So once again, and you guys know the drill already, we're going to grab all of the tokens that we used, including the temporary token that we just acquired, put it in the bag. And I am not interested in discarding any of the cards that are on here in the market. I'll just fill in the gap. It's another science card. Malignant pathogens kill an enemy card. Oh, very cool. And then I will draw 5 more tokens for the next turn. You know what I'm hoping for. I am really, really hoping for that temporary token with the 3 ether to come out. And I don't want to see the smoke. I have 2 smoke tokens in here right now. I don't want to see them. Okay, we got a couple of coal. What else we got? Ooh, more coal. We are such a coal-rich. I think I need to have more options to use my coal. I've got ether. I need one more ether. I mean, two more ether. Come on, give me give me that temporary ether icon. Oh, wow, look at that. So much coal. And one more token to come out, and it is coal. So I have a total of 3, 5, 6, 7 coal. That's bananas how much coal that is. But not all the ether that I wanted, so I can't fire off the cathode ray in my next turn. Getting ahead of myself once again. So now it is the enemy's turn. There are no active enemy cards in this area, so nothing to resolve there. We'll just take the top card of the enemy deck, and then we'll come in. So if it's a news card, you resolve it immediately. So sadly, desertion, discard 2 market cards. Ouch, that hurts. That hurts. Okay. Well, you know what? I do not want to discard the cathode ray, nor do I want to discard HMS Lightning Child. So I think I'm going to discard the Royal Clone Core, and that's fine. It's a low-level card. And I'm going to have to discard this Malignant Pathogens. So now what this means, because we don't fill in gaps in the market until the cleanup phase, I now have fewer options of market cards to choose from in my next player phase, which is right now. It is now my next player phase. So we have a lot of coal. This is bananas how much coal we have here. Definitely want to use this coal over here to do damage. So we're going to place it on the Clockwork Sheriff to do 2 points of damage to the Martian nation, so it goes down to 61. We also want to place 2 coal over on the Etherical Translocator to get another one of these nifty temporary tokens. I'm still angling for that cathode ray, so I'm going to go for temporary ether. I'll place it here for now. I've got a single ether, which could potentially, I could use to buy another single ether token, except there's none. That's totally gone, so that's not going to be useful for me. I actually don't have any good use for, well, I do. This is actually cool. I'm going to go ahead and use this action slot in the Etherical Translocator to trash a low-level token. So I'm placing my ether here, and I'm going to trash this this starter coal token, which means that there's now going to be more chance for my upgraded tokens to come out. So this I'm going to place in the supply. That's done. I'm left with 3 coal. I had so much coal this turn. What am I going to do with this one? Well, the one remaining thing I can do, the one remaining coal slot basically, is I can place it here on my nation card. Let me pull that up to the camera here. You've seen this before, but let me show you again. I'll place it here on my nation card, and that's going to give me upgraded metal token. So that's what I'm going to do for this kind of upgraded metal token here. Very cool. Cool. So now that's what I did. This temporary coal goes back to the supply. Cleanup phase, everything that I played as well as any temporary tokens I acquired this turn go in the bag. And now and only now am I going to be able to replace the 2 market cards that were killed by those deserters, that were discarded by those deserters. So we've got a subterrane. That's kind of cool. Subterrane. And its actions are, give me 1 coal and I'll give you upgraded coal, or give me 3 coal and I'll give you 5 damage. So that's kind of cool. That's going to cost 5 metal. What's the next card? Steam Jets. So the Steam Jets, their action icons are, give me 1 coal and I'll give you, you can draw 1 more token, or give me 2 coal and you'll do 1 damage to the enemy and draw a token. Alright, so these are all kind of cool. The cost of that one is 3 metal. 3, okay. So, and we're drawing 5 new tokens. I want upgraded tokens. I don't want smoke. Oh, God, there it is. Yes. This is going to be great, folks. This is going to be awesome. I've got my 3 ether. I've got an upgraded coal. I've got a single coal, which I may want to figure out how to trash that one. I've got 2 metal. Give me at least 1 more metal. Give me 1 more metal. Oh, there it is. Yes, this is kind of good. This turn is going to be good again. One of the nice things about this game, as you can see, is that it shows you what your tokens are going to be for your upcoming turn, your upcoming player phase, and that is very exciting. But you have to hold off on your excitement first, because now we have to resolve the enemy phase. No active enemy cards, so we're just going to take the top card of the enemy deck, put it into play. It's the Heat Ray. Uh-oh. It's the Heat Ray, and when it activates, remember only the lower part of the card for the AI deck, it's going to do 3 points of damage on me. So I'm going to want to kill this card as soon as possible. It's only got 2 health. So fortunately, it's not going to activate this enemy phase. It's going to activate in the next enemy phase. So let's see if we can kill it before it activates. All right. Now it is my turn. It is our turn. You know what I want to do. I want to take these 3 ether, and it's temporary, so I'll put it back into supply, but I'm going to buy this cathode ray and do 8 humongous points of damage to that Martian Nation card. That's what I'm doing. Oh, yeah. So, 8 points of damage. It's currently at 61. 60, 59, 58, 57, 56, 55, 54, 53. It goes down to 53 health. Does the enemy go? Remember, we need to reduce it to 0 if we want to win. So that was the first thing. Now the second thing is, oh darn, we are so close. We have 4 metal. If we had 5, we could afford that subterrane. If we had 6, we could get the lightning child, but we only have 4, which means we can only do the steam jets for 3, which I think I want to do. I'm going to purchase the steam jets for 3. Okay, so now you notice that, oh yeah, well, we've still got 1 more slot in our front line over here, so we'll place the steam jets over here. And the steam jets give me more things to do with my coal. I've been hurting for things to do with my coal. So now I have choices here. I could put my 2 coal here on the Clockwork Sheriff and do 2 damage to the Heat Ray, which is exactly how much damage it needs to take out the Heat Ray. So I think, you know what, no question, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 2 damage to the Heat Ray, which has 2 health points, so it is gone. It is the nicest thing is when you can kill an enemy card that you know is coming before it even has a chance to activate, which is what we just did. The ominous thing is that I'm thinking this is probably the last level 1 card, and now we're going to move on to the more vicious level 2 cards coming from the enemy deck here. But that is to come. So what else can we do with our 1 remaining coal? Fortunately, because we purchased the steam jets, it gives me now an option. If you give me 1 coal, you can draw 1 more token. Hey, who knows? You know, let's see what happens. Let's draw 1 more token and let's see if we can actually do something with it. Let's see what it could possibly be. It is 2 coal. Okay. Yeah, look at that. So we actually have stuff that we can do with 2 coal. We could potentially put it here and get another one of those lovely temporary tokens that have been working out so well for us. Or we could put it over here and do 1 point of damage to the enemy and draw another token. There's a part of my mind that's like, hey, if you have the opportunity to draw another token, you should always do it. But I don't know, because these temporary tokens have been working out so well for us. So I think I'm going to go and get a temporary token, and the ether has been working out really, really well for us. I should probably, although I do want to buy the lightning child, so this time around I'm gonna choose to go for the upgraded, the 3 icon metal token. So that's very, very cool. And we were able to use all of our tokens. No leftover tokens this turn. So now in the cleanup phase, first things first, we're going to go ahead and grab every single token we used or acquired. And it all goes back in the bag. I don't want to mention the fact, I don't want to jinx myself by saying, hey, that smoke or those 2 smoke tokens haven't come out yet. Shh, don't want to jinx myself there. We have gaps in the market that we're going to fill. Ooh, science card. Heal 3 points. I could use that. That could come in handy. This is another science card, transmutation. Ooh, look at this. For 3 ether, it allows you to trash an existing token and draw 3 tokens from the bag. This is a fantastic science card. Some of these science cards are really great. Okay, and we will draw 5 new tokens for our upcoming turn. Oh, boo! A starter token. I've been so spoiled. 2 starter tokens. Oh no, I'm jinxed myself. I've been so spoiled with all the upgraded tokens. Okay, 2 coal. Let's see what else we got. 2 metal. What else we got? Oh, there it is. 3 ether. I'll be able to use this transmutation. Very tasty. Okay. But before we do that, we have to resolve the enemy phase. No active enemy cards to resolve, so we'll take the top card of the enemy deck. It is a news. Okay. It's called a smoke screen, and the effect of it, the negative effect of it, is add 2 more smoke tokens to your bag. This is not good, folks, because smoke tokens basically are garbage tokens that, and now there's 4 smoke tokens in this bag. So this is going to be gumming up and throwing a wrench in my future plans. But now it's our turn, and we can do interesting things such as use this 3 ether token to purchase this transmutation card and draw 3 more tokens from the bag. So I definitely want to do that. So I'll put this back in the supply. I'll put this in the discard, and I'll draw 3 more tokens. Okay, 1 is an ether. At least it's not a smoke. There's a lot of smoke in here. Coal. 1 more. I don't want to see smoke. I don't want to see smoke. Oh, ether. Okay, great. Well, so far we've been lucky and no smoke has been coming out. So, what else are we going to do? Let's see. We have... What can we do? We've got 4. Once again, we just don't have enough to be able to purchase the subterrane or the lightning child. We've got 4 metal. We do have slots that can use metal. Let's see here. What can we do? Well, okay. We definitely... I think I want to use these 2 ether. So my options to the ether right now are I could use it to trash, to do the etherical translocators option to trash, or I could use all 2 to do damage and also trash, or to do damage and grab a temporary token. These temporary tokens, I love them so much. They've been working out for us. So I think what I'll do is I will use the 2 ether to use the Sonic Carronades action to do 1 damage and also trash. So I am trashing a starter metal token, and I am doing 1 damage to the Martians. They are down to 52 points. And I'm going to do the Steam Jets action to do 1 damage to the Martians. They're down to 51, and draw another token from the bag. No smoke, no smoke, no smoke. Not smoke. Darn it. Okay, no, actually this is good. 5. I have 5 metal, which is just enough to purchase the subterrane, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to use these 5 metal to purchase the subterrane, because that is a powerful weapon. And since I've already used up all of my slots in my front line, all my 5 slots, then I have to choose which one it's going to take over. So I think the aristocratic adventurer is not that useful to me anymore. It's pretty low level. So I will discard the aristocratic adventurer and replace it with a subterrane. Very cool. And now that I've got that subterrane in place, I can have a slot to be able to put my single coal icon and then convert, or rather add a upgraded 2 coal icon, which there are definitely still some here. So I'm going to do that, and that is that. And I've used up once again all of my tokens. So now we go into the cleanup phase. Everything that we used, all of the tokens that we used, all go back in the bag, and we will fill in the gaps for our market. Wow, okay, Maxim rotary cannon. Okay, the Maxim rotary cannon, if I feed it coal plus smoke, I can do 2 damage. Or if I feed it 2 coal, I can do 2 damage. That's kind of cool. It's a way for me to get rid of my smoke tokens and actually have them be useful. So that's pretty interesting as well. The science card that came out is called the Aerial Daguerreotype. It will allow you to look at the top 3 enemy cards and then return them in any order. So that's interesting. Some intel there, which I may want to do. Now let's draw some tokens for our next turn. Starter metal. So once you've got some upgraded tokens in here, there's some smoke. The starter, there's 2 smoke. The starter tokens are very disappointing. Okay. 3 smoke. Well, look at that. So you see how smoke really messes you up, because instead of having 3 useful tokens, I've got these 3 useless smoke tokens coming out. But, okay, that's a worry for the future, because right now we are resolving the enemy phase, where there's no active enemy card, so nothing to resolve there. Let's take the top card of the enemy deck and put it into play. This is the Venusian Horror. The Venusian Horror's effect is it'll do 1 damage and then plus 1 damage for each health point that it has lost. So potentially, because it has 5 health points, if this thing had 4 damage, it would do 1 plus 4, 5 points of damage every time it activated. So it is the kind of card that basically gets enraged the more you damage it, and the more it's going to be out to get you and do you more damage. But that's not happening. That's not resolving this turn. It's going to resolve in the future. So now it is my turn. And really, the only play that I have, actually, I think, is to use these 2 metal to purchase the Maxim rotary cannon. I can't even use it this turn, can I? Ha ha ha. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, no. So actually what I want to do is I want to figure out ways to get rid of the smoke. And the only thing that I have that gets rid of things that takes metal is the Clockwork Sheriff. So that's probably what I want to do, right? I want to use this 2 metal to activate the Clockwork Sheriff's ability to trash a token. And that allows me to trash at least 1 of the smoke tokens. So then I've got 1 metal left, which doesn't do me much good because there's no action slots that takes a single metal. So because of all the smoke that came out, that's pretty much it for me for this turn. These 3 tokens will all be unused, and then sadly will all go back in the bag. So that's kind of annoying. That's the end of my turn. Now we go into the cleanup phase. I actually don't want to trash anything, so I'm just going to keep the market as it is. Still looking at that Maxim rotary cannon for the future, maybe. Okay, so it's now the enemy's turn. So first of all, the Venusian Horror is active and it's going to resolve. It's going to do me 1 damage. It hasn't suffered any additional damage, so just 1 damage. So my damage goes down, my hit points go down to 28. Remember, I started at 32, I'm at 28 now. And then we'll take the top card of the enemy deck, put it into play. It is a news card, Sabotage. Remove 2 boost tokens. Well, doesn't do me anything because I didn't have any boost tokens in play. It just hasn't worked out that way. I don't have any boosts yet. So that gets discarded. Okay, now it is... what did I do? I resolved the enemy phase without doing the cleanup? I didn't do a cleanup, did I? Darn it. Okay, so I played this wrong and I should be doing a cleanup phase. So let's just keep that enemy activation for what it did, and I will still kind of retroactively pull out my tokens for my next player phase. 2. I got distracted by all that smoke. Let's just put it down to that. I got distracted by all the smoke. Okay, got some ether, got some more metal. No smoke, no smoke, no smoke, no smoke, no smoke. Okay, no smoke. Great, okay. So now it's my turn. And we just kind of like transpose the order of the of the enemy activation. So it's my turn now, player phase. So I can potentially buy cards. I can do 2. Okay, I can do 2 to purchase this rotary cannon. Okay, and then where do I put it? Clockwork Sheriff has been very good for me. Etherical Translocator has been good. Sonic Carronade is good, but it requires a lot of ether. Steam Jets. Yeah, so maybe I will replace the Sonic Carronade with my Maxim Rotary Cannon. That's what I'll do. I hope that's the right choice. I've still got 3 metal here. What can I do with all this metal? So, tell you what I want to do. I want to take this 2 metal here, and I want to place it on the Clockwork Sheriff's ability to trash, and I'm going to take this starter metal token and get it out of my bag. So that's what I'll do. I also have 1 ether here, so I could do either aerial daguerreotype or jury rigging. I could get 3 health points back. Do I want intelligence or do I want... I've got a lot of health points, so I guess what I'll do is I will... I'll do the aerial daguerreotype. So I'll place this ether over here, and I can look at the top 3 enemy cards and then return them in any order. So what do we got? We've got Brass Sphere, discard a token, discard all tokens, discard all ether tokens, or discard all science cards from the market. So what do I want to do? I think I'll put the discard... This is tough. Because what if a whole bunch of nice science cards come out? I think I'll put this first, I'll put the enemy second, and I'll put the science cards third and put it back. Okay, so I was able to control my fate a little bit. I hope I did the right choices. I have 2 coal left. What can I do with this coal? I could do 2 damage using my Maxim Rotary Cannon. I could do 2 damage and pull another token. I could get a temporary token. I could do 2 damage. What do I want to do? Do I basically want to get another temporary token, or do I want to get do damage plus pull another token? I think I'll use this to get a temporary token. And I think I will once again get the 3 metal because I'm going after the lightning child. So that's what I'll do. Okay. Cleanup phase. Cleanup phase means take all of the tokens you used and acquired and put them in the bag. And that's what I'm doing. Don't get confused again, Martin. Okay. Taking cards from the market, filling the empty spaces. So now I've got police constables and dirigible for 5. Okay, that's kind of cool. So we've got some nice upgraded cards coming out for me to potentially purchase and add to my front line. So that's kind of cool. Activating the Venusian Horror, I'll suffer 1 damage, only 1 damage, because it's not multiplying its damage because it hasn't been damaged yet. And I will put another enemy card in play. It is news. Discard. Oh, I forgot to draw my tokens, is what I did. I'm now forgetting the last part of the cleanup phase. So I'm getting a little bit turned around here, and I need to focus. All right. Okay. So now that I've got those 5 tokens out, this says to discard all ether tokens. So I discard, and then this card goes away. All right. And now it's my turn. And now I have 5 metal, which means I can afford the dirigible. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to purchase the dirigible. This is already going to go to the supply. It's temporary. The dirigible's action slots are 3 coal, 4 damage, 4 coal, 6 damage. So it's basically just a really powerful weapon. And what do I want to replace with it? Clockwork Sheriff has been doing good for me. Clockwork Sheriff has been doing good for me, so I think I want to discard the Clockwork Sheriff. Alright. Now, I could now... I've got 3 coal here, so I could do this 4 damage. But if I put that on the Venusian Horror, it's going to do more damage to me in its next activation. So I don't want to potentially enable that to happen. Let's see, what else can I do? Oh, okay. The Subterrane. Oh, okay, here we go. Subterrane, for 3 coal, I can do 5 damage. So that's cool because the Venusian Horror has 5 health points. So using the Subterrane and 3 coal, I kill the Venusian Horror, which is what I wanted to do. So that is very, very good indeed for me. I've used up all of my tokens in this turn, so now it is cleanup phase. So first of all, I'll take all the tokens that I used this turn, put them back in the bag. And then I will fill in the market. Post-mortem investigation. You gain health times the health of the top dead enemy card, which would be the Venusian Horror. So that's another 5 health points that I could potentially grab if I have ether. So that's kind of cool. And now, let me not forget to pull my tokens for the next turn. Ether. I don't want smoke. Coal. Smoke. Just as we were saying. Coal. 1 more. Ether. Okay, 2 ether. Right. Okay. Enemy turn. Drawing the top enemy card. It's called a Brass Sphere. It's going to force me to discard a token if I can't kill it. It's got 6 hit points. So now it's my turn. So this is kind of cool because I've got the Maxim Rotary Cannon. If I can provide 1 coal and smoke, I can do 2 damage. So I actually want to do this because it's going to then allow me to make use of my smoke and get rid of it and not have to put it back in my bag. Or actually it's still going to go back in my bag, but at least it's useful. So that is going to be 2 damage points, which I want to direct to the Brass Sphere. It's got 4 hit points left. What can I do? I have 2 more coal here. which I can put on the steam jets. Nope, I can put it on the other half of the rotary cannon to do 2 more damage to the brass sphere. It's got 2 points left. I've got 2 ether, which I can use it to do the post-mortem investigation, which is going to allow me to get 5 health points back, which is a thing that I want to do. So it's 1 health point times the health of the top dead enemy card, which is the Venusian Horror, so it's 5 times 1 is 5. So I get 5 health points back. 27, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm back full up to 32, which is very cool. So far, so good. I don't want to jinx myself, but this game is going a heck of a lot better than my previous game was, but we only just started seeing the level 2 cards. These cards get really nasty. Okay, we're in the cleanup phase. Let's take all of the tokens that we used. I really want to get rid of the smoke. We'll figure out how to do that. And we'll take the top card of the market deck, fill it in there. It's called Light Artillery, and it takes metal to upgrade metal. It takes coal to do 1 damage. It's light artillery. It's not very good. But do I still have? I still have a couple of those upgraded metal tokens, so that might be good. And I will draw some tokens. Starter coal, very boring. Another starter coal, very boring. Boo. Ooh, okay, so now it's getting interesting. Temporary metal. So I've got 5 metal. Can I get 1 more metal? If I get 1 more metal, I've got HMS Lightning Child, which is kind of cool. Nope, it's smoke. It's gonna be smoke. That sucks. Now, enemy activation. Discard a token, it says. So obviously I'm going to take, well, is it that obvious? Because I could use that smoke plus 1 of these coals to do an attack. So I think to do a ×2 attack, which would kill this card. So I think I'm going to discard 1 of my coal. And I'll take the top card of the enemy deck. Discard all science cards from the market. No big deal. It is the jury rigging card, which only would have given me 3 health points, so that's discarded. So turns out I was able to mitigate the damage from that science card because I got that glimpse into the top 3 cards earlier, so that was kind of cool. Great. So that's the end of the enemy phase, and so now it's my turn. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take this smoke and 1 coal to do 2 more points of damage, which kills the brass sphere. So that's cool. And then I've got, darn it, not enough. I've only got 5 metal. I can't afford Lightning Child. But can I do anything interesting with my metal? Nothing really. Because everything I've got now wants coal. I could potentially place this guy here on my nation card and then upgrade my metal, get an upgraded metal token. That's what I'll do. And then I've got no place to put this sadly upgraded metals temporary token, so that goes back to the supply. And that's the end of my turn. I go into cleanup. I take everything that I used and put it back in the bag. Cleanup phase. I don't want the light artillery anymore, I don't think. Although, it does give me options of what to do with metal, but it's so low level. Same thing with the police constables. They're so low level. What do I want to do? Pretty much everything in my front line right now requires coal. Darn it. I don't know what I want to do. I'm going to discard light artillery. And then fill in these gaps. Herbert the Time Traveler with ether. He does interesting stuff. And then the land ironclads, that's also pretty cool, but it requires coal. So much coal is required here. And I am pulling some tokens here. 1 ether, 2 metal, 1 metal, smoke, so I've got all this metal and smoke. That sucks. Let's see what the enemy has in store. It's red weed. Red weed is going to add poison to my bag, so that's not good. So we need to figure out a way to get rid of that if we can. Okay, we've got 4 metal, which means we can afford Herbert the Time Traveler or the Land Ironclads. Herbert the Time Traveler with ether, he could upgrade my ether, which is a thing to do, or we could add a boost to any card. So it's not offensive, but it is kind of a card that boosts other cards or invests in, you know, your buying power. Whereas the Land Ironclads is an offensive card, but it requires a lot of coal, which I don't have obviously any coal that came out right now, and most of my cards, if not all of them, are coal burning cards. They require lots and lots of coal, which I don't have right now. So what do I want to do? I think I'll take Herbert. Herbert for 3. So 1, 2, 3, and let's see where am I going to put Herbert? I think it's time to get rid of the etherical translocator and replace it with Herbert. And Herbert says, hey, if you place 1 ether here, well, okay, before we do that, it says I could boost any card, or I could upgrade to the 2 icon ether tokens. I think I'll do that. Here's the 2 icon ether token, which is going to go in my bag later. So all I have left are 1 metal and a smoke, which don't do much for me. So these are not going to be used. So end of my turn, start of the cleanup phase, take all of these tokens, put them in the bag. Fill in the gap in the market. Flesh harvester. Wow. Again, so much coal. These things take so much coal to be able to do things. And then I'll draw my tokens for the next phase. Metal. I need coal is a thing. Smoke. Great. Things are not going so well now, folks. More metal. I have pretty much nothing to use my metal with. I've got some ether and 2 coal. Finally get to do something with that. Red weed is going to activate and add 1 poison to my bag. So that's not good. And then we draw the top card of the enemy. So this one is the landing cylinders. Every time it activates, it's going to draw another enemy card. Basically, it's an extra card to come into play, extra enemy card to come into play. So we don't like that, and we want to get rid of it as soon as possible. It's got 6 health points. Red weed has 5. Okay, so now it is my turn, and what can we do with our 2 coal? Not much, because the dirigible requires 3 coal and 4 coal. This is very annoying. This is very, very annoying indeed. I could put 2 coal here and do 2 damage. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll put 2 coal here and do 2 damage. Now, do I want to put the damage on the landing cylinders or the red weed? Probably the they're both equally bad, aren't they? Yeah, so the landing cylinders. And then metal, I've got 3 metal, which doesn't let me buy really anything that I'm interested in buying, because the ironclads are 4, Flesh Harvester is 6. Lightning Child is 6. So what can I do with my metal? I can put my metal on my nation card to upgrade to a 2 coal token, which, there it is. So at least if I need more coal, I'm gonna buy. Oh, I already put it directly into my bag. I shouldn't have done that. But anyway, so now I have 1 metal left, which literally there's no place for me to put it. And I've got that smoke, and I've got 1 ether, which I could place it here to get upgraded ether, which I do have, or I could do a boost. I'll upgrade my ether. Cool. I reached the end of my turn. I'm going to take all the tokens that I used. I'm going to put them back in the bag. There's nothing I want to discard from up there. So now what am I working with next turn? 2 ether. 1 metal. 1 ether. 2 more metal. What else? Want something exciting to come out of the bag. 2 coal. Okay. All right. Activating enemies, putting 1 poison in the bag because of the red weed, drawing an extra enemy card, which will activate later, and then I'm going to draw another card, which is the normal draw a card for. So now we've got, wow, okay. These 2 are going to activate later, but this one says kill a card, and this one says add smoke and then do 2 damage. So things are starting to get pretty bad here, folks. So I need to start killing bad guys immediately, very, very quickly. So let's see. For this 2 metal, 2 coal, I will place it on the what the heck? I'm gonna place it here on the steam jets. It doesn't really do anything for me, does it? Well, before that, let's look at, okay, I want to take this 1 ether and place it on Herbert the Time Traveler to boost any card. And then I'm going to take a boost token. So my choices are heal, or trash, or attack, or draw. So I think I'll take this one, and I'll boost the steam jets with a draw an extra token. So now, when I place the 2 coal here, I can do 1 damage and draw a token. So I'll do 1 damage. I'll put it on the landing cylinders. And instead of drawing just 1 token, I'll draw 2 tokens. So this potentially gives me options, hopefully, for more stuff to do on this turn, like more ether. And more coal. Okay, so that was handy. That was handy dandy. So I've got more coal, which I will place on the magazine rotary cannon here to do 2 more damage. So that's 2 more damage I'll place on the landing cylinders. It needs 1 more damage point, which I don't know that I have. Now I have so much ether and nowhere to spend it. Like I could put it here, but do I have another? Yes, I do. Okay, so I'm taking that. That allowed me to upgrade to a 2 ether icon, and that's officially all the ether icons that are there. I've still got ether and no place to spend it whatsoever, so that's going to not get used. And then I've got 3 metal, which potentially, if I still have an upgraded, I do. Okay, so I'll put 2 metal here and upgrade to a 2 coal, and then these 2 tokens are going to get unused. So that is what I did my turn. So we're going to do cleanup. All of these tokens that got used go back in the bag. All right. And draw more tokens. That's poison. Smoke. So bad things are in my bag right now. And you know what? I don't have anything that allows me to get rid of bad tokens, so that sucks. Okay, we'll resolve all of that later. It is now the enemy's turn. So he's adding more poison to my bag because of the red weed. Drawing an extra enemy card, which is the Manhunters. Ouch. Killing a card. I have to just choose a card to be killed. So I think I am going to kill the Maxim Rotary Cannon. Ouch. More smoke plus 2 damage to me. Ouch. So down to 30 points of health, and then 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. Ouch. Okay. And we still have one more card to draw, which is a bombardment. 7 points of damage to me. Ouch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm down to 20 points of damage. Did I not mention that the level 2 cards were going to be much, much more vicious than the level 1 cards? Things are getting really bad here, folks, and I don't have nearly enough coal to be able to do bad things to it. So let's just do my player turn. This means 1 point of damage to me. Oh, that's going to actually go back in my bag. Let me just verify what exactly happens with a poison token once you feel it. Oh, poison. Poison, whenever you draw, your nation immediately loses 1 health, and it doesn't say that it goes back to the supply. So that poison token is going to go back in my bag, as will this smoke token. So that's not good. I've got 4 coal, and coal is what I've been waiting for. So the dirigible with 4 coal, I can do 6 damage. So I'll put that there, and then this guy, these tripods have 6 health points, so I will kill it right now. Boom. So that's 6 damage there. I have ether that I can't do anything with. That's not true. I can boost a card. So if I place this ether here, I can take a boost icon. And what do I want to boost? I could do a trash. Yeah, I probably want to do a trash on something, don't I? I'll boost Herbert with a trash symbol. And that's everything that I can do. So now I'm in cleanup. So once again, take away all of the tokens that I used. Put them back in the bag. And draw 5 new tokens for the next turn. Let's see, we've got coal, just a regular starter coal. And a starter metal. These are really not helping me, folks. 2 coal. Okay, getting a little bit more. 2 ether. And smoke. Okay. Enemy turn. Add poison to bag. There's like so much poison in this bag now. Draw an enemy card. Ouch. Titan will resolve later. Kill a card. Oh man. Subterranean, dirigible, I guess steam jets, huh? 3 damage, Manhunters. 1, 2, 3. I'm down to 17 points. That's not going to resolve yet. This is not going to resolve. Well, this will resolve. Activate all enemy cards in play. Wow. Okay. Rapid offensive. So More poison. No more poison tokens here, so nothing to be done there. Draw an enemy card. Put the top dead enemy card back into play and activate it. This is great. The top dead enemy card is Tripods. And it gives me smoke, and it does 2 damage to me. 1, 2, I'm down to 15. Kill a card. Another card to kill. Subterrane, Dirigible, Herbert. Think I'll kill Herbert. 3 damage, Manhunters. 1, 2, 3. 5 damage or kill a card. Let's just take the 5 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm down to 7. And this one is smoke. There's no more smoke to add. And then 2 damage. 1, 2. I'm down to 5 hit points. So things have gone horribly wrong. And I'm pretty much assured with 5 hit points left that if I don't die in this turn, I'm going to die very, very soon. There's really not much left for me to be able to do here. So I'm going to just concede defeat. I'm actually pretty tired. This has been going on for almost 2 hours. So hope that has given you an idea of how to play this game. I like it. It's a nice tableau builder. It's a bag builder. And I am a fan of The Brass Age by Barney Skinner. Until next time, this has been Martin. I hope I've been playing it pretty much well. I think I've gotten the rules correctly, but the strategy, the tactics, not so much, obviously, because I just had my behind handed to me by the Martians. And that's how it goes. So I'll see you next time on the channel.